Welcome to Business with Teacher T. In this video, we're going to look at how to get that amazing application in your business essays. For further videos on exam techniques and business revision topics, don't forget to subscribe to the Teacher T channel and hit that notification bell. Application marks vary across the business exam boards and are dependent on the question. Application is to do with AO2, which includes applying knowledge and understanding of business concepts. For answers that gain the highest marks for application, there is an expectation that the answers are well contextualized. This means that your answer is fully applied to the business and the case study. This video will give you tips on how you can include amazing application in your essay by contextualizing your answers. So here are some tips on how to contextualize your answer. Make sure that you're making use of the case study. Do not ignore the case study. It's there for a reason. You should be underlining key information or highlighting key information within that case study, ready to put that in your answer. Your answer should also be linked to the business. So whether it's Microsoft, whether it's Gucci, your answer should be tailored to that business. You should also have an understanding from the case study about what the business wants to do. Maybe they're intending to expand or they're hoping to expand. Maybe they're focused on profit maximization. What does the business want to do? So if you're able to find this out, this could be a point that you could include for your application as well, if relevant. If they are intending to expand, for example, and they mention figures, they mention a certain amount of money, use that in your answer. If they need that certain amount of money, if they need additional resources, use that information. You should also use quotation marks where necessary to show where you've taken the information from. And make sure that the information that you have used is relevant. It's very important. Don't just use any information from the case study. Refer to your question and then to the case study and use the relevant information. Let's look at some further tips. Using the business's name is not sufficient to gain application marks. You need to link your answer to the business, which we'll look at next. Now, a good way to check if your answer is contextualized is to do the Tesco test. Now, the Tesco test is basically looking at your answer. So if you wrote an answer about a business and then you could cross out the business's name and replace it with another business's name, such as Tesco, and it still made sense, it means that your answer is not contextualized. Now let's look at some further tips to help boost your application. Typically, when students are given a business, within the case study, they refer to it as the business and they talk about the product. We need to move away from the product. Okay, so let's look at some tips to help you do so. Now, if you were given a business in the case study, such as British Airways, to write about, and you had questions to do with British Airways, we know what they sell. We don't need to be referring to the product. We know they sell airline tickets and holidays. You might be given a question to do with employee motivation. So instead of just talking about staff and employees, we know what type of staff they have at British Airways. They have pilots, they have flight attendants, they have ticket agents. So these are little things that you can use to really contextualize your answers. In addition, where relevant, you could also write about their competitors, such as Virgin Atlantic and Delta, just giving mention to that. Likewise, in a case study, if you were given Pizza Hut, we know what they sell. Food. So they sell pasta, they sell pizza. That is included in your application in your written answer. Members of staff, the type of staff that they have at Pizza Hut. They have waiting staff such as waitresses and waiters. They have cooks and chefs and pizza makers. That is application. All right, that's really helping to contextualize your answer. Also, some of their competitors are Domino's and Papa John's. Right, so we've looked at British Airways and Pizza Hut and totally looked at ways how we can contextualize our answer. All right, and the answers that we had there were totally related to British Airways and Pizza Hut. So we know that it would have passed the Tesco test. Now let's look at Audi, and you can interact with this as well. So Audi, what do? We know that they sell and manufacture cars. What type of staff do they have at Audi? So really thinking about how you can link it to the business, not just saying staff, linking it to the business. So we would assume that they have mechanics at Audi, car salespeople. So that's really contextualizing your answer. In addition, their competitors, they have many, such as BMW and Peugeot. So this is information you can use where relevant to really contextualize your answers so you're not just talking about the product, the business, staff, you're really contextualizing your answer. Finally, let's look at some other ways to get that amazing application in your answer. You might want to look at the type of business it is. Is it a PLC? Is it LTD? You could mention shares where relevant or share capital. You could look at the size of the business. Is it a small business with a few employees or is it a large business? Does the case study state the profit that's being made from this business? You could also look at the key corporate objectives of the business. Are they currently working towards them or is there anything that's causing a conflict with them? You could identify and establish their main competitors. They may mention them in a case study. How might these competitors affect the business? What are these competitors trying to do? So these are all things that you might notice in the case study, and where relevant, you could apply it. And finally, looking at the data. Now, the data is very important. If there is data, use it and state what the figures mean. There might be financial information to do with profit, such as gross profit or net profit. It might be to do with fixed costs or variable costs. Use the figures. The information is there for a reason. Thanks for watching this video. If you're liking the business vibe, don't forget to subscribe.